Hey, what's going on? It's your boy Mikey here with Out of the Ordinary, and here are my two guests, Hexus and Rat.
Yo, it's your boy.
What's up, guys?
The power of Christ compels you. The
Does it,
power
Dave? Does it compel me?
Does it?
it's not really that compelling.
See what had happened was.
Well, speaking of demons and stuff like that, and fallen angels and everything like that, today's episode, we will be talking about the Nephilim. Yes, that's right. We will be talking about the Nephilim, and basically, Nephilims are a mysterious being or people in the Hebrew Bible who are large and strong. And the word Nephilim is loosely translated as giants in some translations of Hebrew Bible, but left untranslated in others. Jewish explanations interpret them as hybrid sons of fallen angels. So, yeah, Raz, you got anything to say about that?
Yeah, man, there's a lot of great lore behind Nephilim in general. There are actual cults and a pretty huge religion called Angelicism dedicated to the worship of only angels, not any other deity. And there are, like, literally, it's almost like alien sightings, man. Like, a lot of people have these stories about how they were impregnated legitimately, supposedly, again, I say supposedly, by an angel, a fallen angel, and or demon. So it's a pretty big thing in culture even today.
Oh, wow. So, yeah. I'm reading here the etymology, and it says, the Brown Driver Briggs lexicon in 1908 gives meaning of Nephilim as giants and holds the purposed etymologies of the world who are all very precarious. Many suggested interpretations are based on the assumption that the word is derived from Hebrew verbal NPL, or fall. Robert Baker Glidestone argued in 1871 that the word comes from hyphil, causative stem, implying that the Nephilim are to be perceived as those that cause others to fall down. So, what do you guys think about that? Any thoughts on it?
I'm just kidding.
And a lot of like older religious manuscripts and stuff, they talk about how it was actually supposed to be this great send for an angel or even a fallen angel or demon, in fact, to parlay with mankind to that direct degree. And there was able to be like three major holy wars. There was the original holy war, which, when Lucifer fell. There was the one where Lucifer wanted to, get revenge, I guess, is the more or less the story. And then there's the religious war, the third war that's going on now for the fate of humanity, supposedly. Again, this is all just religious lore. I'm not speaking in favor of a religion. It's just religious lore. During the great times in need of the war, though, supposedly it is said that certain sins, like the creation of a Nephilim, were forgiven in order to bolster, that army or that particular, stance.
Right. So, and I'm getting word here that Facebook isn't loading the feed, so...
Yeah, StreamYard's having an issue with it. It's completely not... That's what I was looking at my phone right now. It is... It's just straight up on YouTube only right now.
Really?
I'm going to it, and then it's just like loading and loading and loading. I saw the warning on here a second ago before we jumped on. And yeah, it's not trolls or anything like that. It's just Facebook stream.
Right.
For 3 hours and 35 minutes.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it said we've been live for 3 hours and 45 minutes.
What? Wow.
Yeah, that's what it says.
That's when I made the live feed. It was 3 hours.
Now something went wrong.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, anybody that's listening on YouTube, we're talking about the Nephilim. So, basically, what do you want to do? Just stream on YouTube?
It's already going to YouTube. Give me a second here. Let's go to commercial real fast.
All right.
We'll figure it out from there.
All right.
Let me find a commercial.
And now this commercial message.
Well, gentlemen, perhaps we wouldn't be where we are today if we hadn't said to ourselves, just go, 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 go for it.
final score for this film, we're going to give it 3 paws out of 4.
La Señora de la Santa Muerte, Spanish for Our Lady of the Holy Death.
Out now!
Oh, not sex and violence!
Hi everybody, I'm Akash,
And I'm Pre-Sexist Diamond.
and we are Roots Bleed Red on Psycho Bunny Death Cult.
Aha!
In fact, humans have a very long history of eating each other.
So lock your doors, turn out your lights, and join us for Guru Radio.
Hey,
All right, we're
Dun-dun-dun.
back. Yeah, I just let everybody know from Facebook that we are having technical difficulties and that we
yeah, I'm just
fixed.
removing the feeds right now. I don't know. It's
So yeah,
it's some issue between StreamYard communicating with Facebook. That's all it is. So, but we're on YouTube right now.
yeah. Hello, YouTube.
Hello.
Hello. So, anyways, in the Hebrew Bible, there are 3 interconnected passages referencing the Nephilim. 2 of them come from the Pentateuch, whatever that is. I don't know. The first occurrence is in Genesis 6:1-4, immediately before the account of Noah's Ark. In Genesis 6:4, it reads as follows: The Nephilim were in the earth in those days, and also after that, the sons of gods came unto the daughters of men, and they bore children to them. The same were mighty men that were of old men and renown. So, what do you guys think of this whole thing about the Nephilims coming down here and mating with Earth people?
Getting freaky is what you're trying to say.
They're
Getting
doing it.
freaky with the Earth people. Like, what do you guys think? Like,
Well, I thought the Nephilim. It wasn't the Nephilim are actually the prodigy of the angels doing it, and the angels came down thinking they were doing something proper, and it was actually going to turn out to be good, and turned out it wasn't. Apparently, the prophecy too was completely wrong, where they were saying the Nephilim were nice.
Well, they go like hardcore into that in Prophecy 3 also.
Do they?
Because
Oh, they
Prophecy
did,
3
you're right.
is entirely about a Nephilim. Like entire.
I thought that was the second one.
The second one starts to get into it. The third one goes like really far in, like
And
even
that's-
farther.
Okay, that's where Christopher. I was going to say Christopher Lee, but Christopher Walken, God punishes him by making him human,
Yep,
and then he
that's
goes through his trials, and in the third one, he becomes a real angel again and actually accepts his
Yeah,
role.
yeah.
hey,
Yep.
and he becomes a real angel and says, "Hey, talking to my guy all wrong. It's the wrong
Hey.
tone."
Yep.
I'm talking to my guy.
Yep.
Oh,
And
wrong.
then 4 goes the other direction, and it's actually Lucifer that's involved with starting with 4, and Doug Bradley's even in it from 4 on.
Oh wow! So
Yeah,
uh,
it's
they-
pretty crazy.
They didn't bring back Viggo Mortensen.
No, they didn't bring back a lot of people.
and
think
you know,
that's Natalie.
yeah,
Hey, Natalie.
and I've heard from people saying that Nephilim still walk among us. So, what do you guys
True.
think about that? That like how
Hey, Nadine.
how do you feel about that? Like Nephilim's walking among us. I mean, I've seen a couple of videos and stuff like that. I don't know what to believe it, whether to believe it or not, because a lot of people like to tend to CGI things and everything like that. But do you really think that Nephilims really do walk among us?
I mean, I think it's possible depending on how you view them. I mean, are we talking about the giant-sized versions of them that some people think exist, or are we talking about the ones that can completely pass for human? Because if we're talking about they can completely pass for human, I tend to believe anything is possible.
I'm talking about the ones that they're talking about now, the giant ones and stuff like that. Like, do you think that those are actual proof of Nephilims?
I mean, we have found what they consider to be giant-sized skeletons during archaeological digs. And this also depends on how much you believe the Weekly World News, because there's a lot of stuff in the Weekly World News that talks about giants.
I don't watch the Weekly World News though. I do listen to a lot of like Art Bell and stuff like that. I listen.
Oh, I
to
love Coast to Coast. I know you're a big Coast to Coast fan. I
Oh
absolutely love
yes,
Coast to Coast.
big
Man.
Coast to Coast fan. I do listen to a lot of that stuff, and I was talking to a cousin of mine today, and he was telling me, he goes, there's a guy by the name of Night God, and he was showing videos of like these Nephilims and stuff like that, and he one thing that my cousin was telling me, he was like, well, there's this thing about these Rangers or something like that went in, tried to that they killed one of these Nephilims.
Oh, you're talking about I know exactly what you're talking about. They weren't the Army Rangers was what it was, and they were in
Right.
Afghanistan.
Uh-huh.
So,
And that this Nephilim or giant, whatever, came out of a cave. It killed most of the Army Rangers, but when they finally killed it, a helicopter comes and takes that thing away and gets rid of it. So what do you guys think about that? That to me, that has to be there has to be something, they're hiding something.
This is the military, man. It's really hard to say what exactly they're doing or what they are hiding, but I tend to believe they cover a lot of things up. Not because I don't think it's always for nefarious reasons. I think a lot of things get swept under or covered up, surely so they don't create a mass panic. Because I mean, if we find out that there's races of Nephilim living in our backyards, they're going to come out of caves and sewers or what have you, people are going to lose their shit. They're going to completely lose their shit.
It is true. It is true. And then Nadine says, RHNEG is an alien trait. So,
the blood type, is that what it is?
Oh, I guess RH negative is alien trait. Oh, okay. I got it.
It's mutants.
And
it's inherited protein on the surface of red blood cells, actually.
And we're having people coming in. We have Nadine. Hello, Nadine. Hello, Calvin. And then Nadine says too. Hold on, let me grab that up real quick here. Nadine says it's a great. Right here it says this is a great topic tonight. I'm totally into it. That is why we left Afghanistan so abruptly. Huh.
Nephilim, you're talking about with the cave and
yeah.
That aspect happened. That happened toward the start of the Afghanistan war. We left Afghanistan in this year. So the longest war ever I think that we've ever had was like, when did it start? 2001, dude. 21 years. Yeah. Holy crap.
Just to clarify for the people at home, I mentioned the Weekly World News earlier. That is actually an old school magazine rag that you actually see at Men in Black if you've never actually seen one before. They're the ones that made Bat Boy and a lot of the other completely ridiculous shit where my mother is an alien and et cetera, like the weird news articles. But some of the stuff in there sometimes are interesting.
Are we talking about the National Enquirer?
So there was kind of the National Enquirer, but Weekly World News was that on crack for decades. And it was always at the supermarket lines. Anywhere you get the National Enquirer right next to it was always the Weekly World News, and it was just even more crazy and sensational.
You see, I probably know who Bat Boy is. Might be my cousin. No, I'm just kidding. Delphine says here, I'm not of the belief that they are necessarily all giants. However, I do believe that they are various hybrids out there. Also believe in Lilin.
Yep.
Also, Kaka.
I mean, I tend to believe that, more realistically, if they're hiding amongst us, they would be more human hybrid and more able to disguise themselves as human. And that's what you see in a lot of pop culture, a lot of religious texts, is that they're more so on the human look of things.
So what? We're talking about shapeshifters or something? Is that?
Yes and no. I mean, as far as all that pop culture and religious, theory goes, they would just generally look absolutely normally human, except for their eyes could shift. If you've ever seen Supernatural, how the demons shift their eyes black, things like that, their eyes shift, and some can potentially have wings that are just cloaked to the human eye, but they can make them visible, and they usually have something. The colors of the feathers are a little bit different, and they have something to do with the parentage. So that's
wow, that's interesting. So we have Everett in here. Greetings. Well, hello.
sorry. I'm downloading pictures right now. Everett, what's going on? Nadine actually brought up something I didn't know. There's a recent story. That's the one she was talking about. I didn't know there was 2 stories. I only thought about.
What?
I only heard about the one. And I'm trying to find the other one right now. So, and I got a picture of the original one I found right now. It's spot on. It's definitely legit. Whoops, that's a video. Whoops. Where's the
Hi, Roots Bleed Red, whoever you are.
fucking assholes? That's what they are.
I met those guys.
Those guys are Roots Bleed Red, and they're dicks.
Hey man,
We're like Roots Bleed assholes.
You leave those guys alone, man.
Here we go. Here's
Leave
what
Brittany
I found.
alone.
Guys, the legit picture, man. This is legit. Spot on. Right there. That's what really happened.
Yep, it's an artist rendition of the truth right there.
Yeah, no, the fingers and all that stuff. Yeah, was it like almost 10 on each hand or something like that?
I thought it was just 6.
Was it 6? 1, 2.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 6.
You're right, yeah.
So Nadine had explained that a few sentences back. Okay, it says Nephilim have red hair, double rows of teeth, 6 fingers, and 6 toes. So yeah, that's
the giant version of them. That's an accurate description. Shared between like a lot of people and experts. And
so here it says the nature of the Nephilim is complicated by the ambiguity of Genesis 6:4, which leaves it unclear that they are sons of God or the offspring of who are the mighty men of old. Okay, mighty men of old. Men of renown. Richard Hess takes it to mean that the Nephilim are offsprings, as does P.W. Coxon. And so, Rootsby Bread says Jutons?
Yoltons.
Yolton.
Yeah, it's Yolton. You basically what the Jotuns were the giants that Thor fought all the time, the giant race.
Yeah.
They were more along the lines of basically being elemental, and it was a way of the Norse pagans and the Norwegians, the Scandinavians mainly, to describe like weather and changes that they couldn't exactly deal with, because the frost giants and stuff like that, when they came down, they brought freezing rains, everything, and and then there's Thor being the protector. You guys, you guys froze for a second.
I see you.
Froze. I was like, what the hell? That's where you get Thor being the protector of man battling nature, trying to protect themselves and stuff like that. And that's basically what the Jotuns were and stuff like that. Unless they really are, unless Jotunheim is actually a legit place to go to, I would have fun there. Freezing cold.
So let's read more about the Greek mythology about them being giants. It says most of the contemporary English translations of Genesis 6:1-4 and Numbers 13:33 render the Hebrew
We're in modern times of genders 6:1-4. I'm kidding. We're getting taken down.
Smile and nod.
Yeah, we're gonna get taken off the air here in a bit. You violated YouTube community guidelines.
I think every show would have been banned at that point if that was
guideline right here.
Yeah.
It's like
I like YouTube
right here.
I actually enjoy YouTube and everything YouTube provides.
So yeah, it says here
that YouTube give us money.
Right.
Give us money, YouTube.
Give us money. Give us your cash.
That's all I care about.
Oh, don't forget to go buy our popcorn. Oh, and once more, please eat your vegetables. Please do not steal them, and please fix your damn water heaters because they're gonna fall to the floor.
Oh, I know who you're talking about now. That's way before Raz's time. We'll have to explain that to him later on.
I'm also super buzzed right now, so I remember we had this part of the conversation later.
So, it says Nephilim says giants. This tendency in turn stems from the fact that one of the earliest translations of the Hebrew Bible in the Septuagint, composed on the 3rd or the 2nd century BCE, renders that said the word gigantic.
Mikey,
What's
your
up?
mic is cutting in and out.
Is it mine?
Okay, now we're
Yep.
right where you're
Yeah,
at.
now it's fine.
There you go. Now it's fine. So
Okay.
it's
I think it was just when you moved.
Oh,
That's when
okay,
you
okay. So it says, damn, I lost my place now. Okay, the choices made by the Greek translators has been later adopted into the Latin translation to the Vulgate, complied in the 4th or 5th century CE, which uses the transcriptions of the Greek term to rather than the literal translation of the Hebrew Nephilim. From there, the tradition of the giants Porengi, of the sons of God, the daughters of men, spread later to medieval translations of the Bible. Then it says, the decisions of the Greek translators to render the Hebrew Nephilim as Greek gigantes is a separate matter. Hebrew Nephilim means literally the fallen ones, and the strict translations into Greek would be Peptocodes, whatever that is.
Pepto Bismols.
Pepto-Bismols.
Upset stomach, diarrhea.
Is that what
Take
the
Pepto-Bismol.
Holly Bibbles giants did? Isn't it technically? I mean, there was a golem in Jane Silent Bob, or not Jane Silent Bob, Dogma. There was
Dogma,
a
yeah,
golem
yep.
in Dogma.
The Golgothan shit demon, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, so more likely this all goes into it says Rotting Christ, fucking love them. Isn't there an actual band called Nephilim?
Yeah.
There is
Nephilim.
actually.
There's an actual death metal band called Nephilim.
They're Nephilim.
No, there's also a Nephilim.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know there's an Angel Corpse. The Angel Corpse is fucking rad. They do a
Yeah.
badass cover of fucking Eat Me Alive from Judas Priest. It's sick as fuck. And but no, yeah, Nephilim is fucking rad. The ship made out of fingernails and toenails and stuff like that gives people pain when they're on it, as in it transports them to whatever hell is, or not hell, but wherever it's transporting to for them to be tortured in Norse mythology and stuff.
So there's also the Nephilim that was like an old 80s ish band.
I wish we could play it right now. I would love to play that.
Yeah. Well, the newest one, the newer Nephilim, Nephilim, is a band, more current one as well. The Nephilim is the 80s, Nephilim is the current band.
Okay.
But there's also like a million versions of the title Nephilim that have literally bands in all different musical genres right now too. So that's a little confusing.
It's a popular name.
It's a very popular name.
That's where you get your copyrights out fast.
It's interesting because that term has other connotations to it. There's in relation to Greek mythology, there is actually a big belief that the concept of Nephilim is like, it's the equivalent to being a god, or half god in Greek terms. Demigod, basically, demigod and Nephilim are actually interchangeable terms in a really interesting way. And it's one of the things they use to, when they put up religions, to get people to join other religions. They obviously they use things to, so, here's this new religion, but there are enough similarities that it won't be a giant change to your lifestyle in order to switch. Back in the big religion recruitment days, many, many moons ago. But it was an interchangeable term, and it is widely believed that Nephilim are really just demigods, or in some cases gods, whereas the more giant version could have potentially been the Titans.
Well, when you look at the hierarchy of, God and the angels and all that stuff, it's very much taken from Greek mythology, Roman, and stuff like that. And so then it is very obvious to what the angels are in that, they're not going to say it's God because they're not supposed to be worshipped, but they're gods.
Yeah.
There's one almighty God. And it's the same thing with Norse mythology. You have the one god above all, which is Odin, and his 200 different names. And then you have in other mythologies too. It's the same thing.
Greek is Zeus. I mean, there's usually the god that kind of leads everyone else. But yeah, it's very, very similar.
The crazy thing with Norse mythology, you have Thor being one of the most powerful gods, but usually a thunder god in most mythologies is one of the absolute top gods, because that technically is a power from heaven right there. You know, lightning bolts and everything coming down. So, but it's just odd.
Are we talking about Radian?
Raiden.
Raiden from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
and then they brought him over from Big Trouble in Little Chinatown, so which is awesome.
Yep, Big Trouble in Little China, my favorite movies. Not even just my John Carpenter movie, but like my favorite.
One of my favorite John Carpenter movies. You got a lot of comments coming through, Mikey. You want to get some?
Yeah, we'll see here. Delphine says, there's so much that depends upon translation, and the language evolves at such a crazy pace. Sometimes that we can't be sure what was translated by who, and rather they knew vernacular of the times. And then it's Psychomantium says exactly.
Yep.
Calvin says, we got the body of a god. It's Buddha, but hey.
The Buddha's palm descending from heaven.
One question that I ask is what do these things have to tie with aliens? Because I know there's a lot of talk. You know, I've seen documentaries where they tie in the Nephilims with aliens. So, Raz? What do you know about that? Like what can you tell us about that?
To be honest, so we're in this day and age where we get the explanation that aliens are behind everything, right down to the Thanksgiving thing, especially they put out there for a while that even South Park kind of parodied, which was hilarious. But I think we attribute, some people just attribute anything that belongs to the heavens as just aliens, or anything influenced by the heavens, aliens. Santa Claus, aliens. It's one of those. It's kind of a fad, to be honest with you. I mean, could aliens be responsible for all kinds of stuff? Sure, why not? I mean, the prequel Alien film Prometheus kind of explained how they found a version of man. Right. That was a giant, by the way, on another planet. So, I mean, sure, we could call something alien, and also the term alien itself has a lot of different meanings and connotations, and it's just something that's not necessarily, of this world, or of the known world, I guess would be the best translation of it. So, I mean, technically, but I think you also have to look at what if it's interdimensional.
Right. And then
that's technically alien, too, because it's not of, the known world.
Actually, what I was actually going to say that more than likely, not to go off on a tangent here, about aliens and stuff like that, if there is, because things are so far apart, and in the galaxy or in the universe, things are so far apart, and it's constantly expanding. You have everything, and then we're also not in the same position, no matter what. Every minute, every second, we're moving throughout the universe. So the further apart we get, the harder it is for things to travel or whatnot. If there is life out there, which more than likely there is, it's billions and billions of stars. It's gonna have, a lot of planets in the Goldilocks zone. But what's not feasible is traveling to these locations. But what might be feasible at some point is wormholes, being interdimensional, string theory and stuff like that. And a lot of things I've read, like a lot of the whatever, say with the Skinwalker Ranch and stuff like that. It's a very big kind of proof. That's a very big deal with things being interdimensional and then things actually with reality, with how one of the ways they were saying that possibly that these beings back in the day, these beings actually visited us was they fold their reality down over us, and then they're here. And it would actually make a lot of sense too, because them being in these suits and stuff like that, like Nadine brought up the Enochian, Anunnaki, yeah, all that stuff. Those are most likely suits that they use to exist within our plane. It also makes a lot of sense too when you look at things like that. When people experience these cryptids or aliens or whatnot, they end up becoming irradiated as hell because they bring us into their existence with whatever ship it is, and it makes more sense that can we exist over there? For a little bit, we'll die. can they exist here for a little bit? Yeah, and they'll die. And it would make sense that at some point, especially if they have the tech to come through and through dimensions like that, they're gonna do the whole everything, all the stuff that we've heard about before with the breeding, everything like that. It's gonna happen. They're gonna see what they can do to prolong life and stuff like that. Yeah, we're
natural.
Constantly looking for the missing link, and then a new missing link, and then a new one right after that. It's sorry, went off on a tangent.
It's relevant though. It's entirely relevant to what we're discussing. If you think about the evolution of things, the evolution of the concept of Nephilim as a whole, from when it was originally spoken about or written about or existed, whatever you would like.
Yep.
Believe. Missing link of their own kind.
Yeah.
So Nadine says there are 4 fallen angels chained under the Eurofits River. Once that river dries up, look out. So that's pretty scary, actually. And then Delphine says, I know people out there who believe that our gods are and that our gods and paranormal entities are aliens. They will use the alien Jesus to exorcise an alien demon following Catholic rites, but still can't call them aliens. The thing that I question about on the aliens, the whole alien Jesus and stuff like that, is I don't believe that Jesus was an alien, but I do believe that some of these people in the biblical times actually did see UFOs, and they probably perceived them as angels, and they started writing all this stuff. That's one theory that I question and stuff like that, because it has been seen in paintings of Michelangelo and stuff like that. In the background you can see little flying saucers in there and stuff, and back then something that modern, that something like technology like that would actually freak people out, that make them think something, hey, what kind of thing is that, So sometimes I do believe that maybe aliens did have to do something with something, but not in all of it.
Yeah.
And then Rootsby Red says he was a vampire.
He was a vampire.
Nah, he was Gandhi.
Euphrates. So I did want to bring this one up right here. Susan said, Natalie says, it still boggles the mind that though on time travel and wormholes, it's hypocritical. Would it be easier? It would hypothetically be easier to time travel to the future versus to the past. Now, people have actually said we have technically time travel to the future. That happens when you go away at a distance and then you come back. There's less time that has passed for you opposed to what's passed for us on Earth. The issue, though, with time travel is traveling to the past is you could travel to the past, but there is no fixed point for our entire galaxy. It is constantly moving through there. You would have to map out where we were, and you have to map out where we're going in order to time travel properly. Once you can actually map that out in our universe, meaning we finally get the tech to where we not only do we know how big the universe is, or not only can we see the universe on whatever scale they take pictures of on through NASA, but we actually know how big it is. Then you can actually map out where we're going through everything else, and then once you get to that point, that is actually where we can officially time travel. So
exactly, yeah. I would love to time travel, though.
Oh yeah. Well, they were saying that before they have supposedly on in whatever Reddit forums or whatever it is, they have time traveled, and the people just die because they're left in empty space when they hit the spot, and then they just die.
Huh.
But you can travel to the future because it really is just a matter of have you seen Interstellar, traveling to a black hole, getting caught in it for a second. If you've seen the movie, every tick on that, whatever it is, it's a minute for them, but it's a year for Earth. And then when he gets back, he's only, what's his face is only like 20, or no, he's like 40 something years, Matthew McConaughey. But his daughter aged to like almost 100. and she's dying.
Whoa.
But going out real far away, then coming back, it's just a matter. Time is more of perception than anything else. What was I can't think of the scientist that did the experiment with the light ball. He put him on a stage, and he had a guy, and he had a camera on him with a helmet, and the light's going back and forth, and then it's going up and down like this. As he's going back and forth, it's normal to him, but when you're in the audience, you perceive it as very slow going like this, opposed to it going like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Technically, we're time traveling whenever we're far distance away from anybody. So
then Natalie says the babushka lady on the grassy knoll. Yeah, whatever happened to her? You know, like nobody's ever found who she was.
I
then
bring that up.
I time travel when I drink whiskey. I think we all do.
Yeah,
we all. But going back to the babushka lady, like what happened to her, and why is it that when she makes her appearance or something like that, something tragic happens, or it's gone through a tragedy, That's just things that boggle my mind, man.
The way to get back to the future after traveling to the past is just to live it. You need Nadine. I'm sorry, not Nadine. Delphine. You got to put the way to get back to the future after traveling to the past is just to live it, man. That's how you have to say that.
Can we go back to the future, or rather back to the past? I think is the more appropriate term.
Can we?
Yeah. I mean, if I had to travel, man, I would like to travel in Bill and Ted's phone booth.
Yeah, it would be all about either that or the the police box in Doctor Who for me, for sure.
Ah, nice.
either one of those two options, that'd be great. Because the time machine, not so much, man.
If Delphine brings this up, is that really time traveling? It's just time dilation. I consider them to be two different things. If it's a good thing it's a neat thing to think about. But if you're actually traveling and say you don't age, but everything else does, everything else is spinning and doing whatever else, but that technically is time travel right there. You've experienced 10 years away or 5 years away or whatever the duration is, maybe 1 year away, but the Earth has experienced 100 years. So it is time dilation, but it is technically time travel for the person doing it, because you come back young and then you're also in the future too. It's just a matter of getting there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I could be completely wrong. More than likely, I'm wrong.
It's also folklore-wise, it's super interesting because if you look into Fey mythology, there's a lot of Fey mythology that closely relates to and is believed to be the explanation for a lot of these things instead of aliens. Because there are a lot of things involving, Fey mythology that involve things like time travel, like where 1 month there is like 5 years here, or things like that. And of course, a lot of other have their own the equivalency of gods or angels. They just call them something completely different. There's different courts, different to represent the seasons. There's this, there's that. Right. There's the good side, the bad side. But there's a lot of really interesting Fey lore that just as easily explains Nephilims and things as well. Because in that culture, Nephilim is an interchangeable word for someone who's part Fey. So.
And Natalie says, I just don't want to meet the mole people.
The Morlocks.
The Molochs.
Yeah, the Morlocks are they're basically mole people that were basically from the time, the Time Machine book / movie.
Oh, okay. I thought there were there's actual stories about that.
The Morlocks was just what humanity had been reduced to, more or less. But I mean, mole people are just people that live underground for long periods of time. But Morlocks were kind of like mole people also in this original story. But then you've got crab people. I mean, that's a whole other show.
Crabs.
Crab people. Crab people.
Look like crab. Talk like
you got Zoidberg.
There you go, yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Nadine says that she loves H.G. Wells' Time Machine. That's a favorite of mine as well. It's a fantastic classic.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen that one. Yeah.
It's originally a classic novel, but there's been like a million different film interpretations of it.
did a good.
That was the best one.
That's not a bad movie at all. Actually, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, the more modern one, Guy Pearce. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and the Chuds.
Cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers.
Well, unless you're Rick and Morty, then it's cannibalistic horses underground dwellers, whatever it was. Yeah.
I wouldn't want to meet the critters though.
Critters.
What was their technical term? Cretites or something like that, or
Krites.
Yeah. Beware the slee stacks.
Land of the Lost. Yeah, there we go.
No, the ones from Tremors, those worms.
Oh, the graboids.
Graboids.
Yeah, the graboids, man. Those are creepy as hell.
What if they were like half Nephilim, half like mole or something like that, and they
half Nephilim, half mole people?
Yeah, bam, graboids.
You know the thing though with religion or with any where you have other cultures embracing it, you know, deities coming down and because it's more along the lines of just spreading the faith, and a lot of religions when you look at like the Indian religion, Hindu religion and stuff like that. Well, originally that when they came down and like they actually with all the other tribes and all this other stuff that was in India at the time, they didn't take these out and say absolutely not, you can't believe this stuff anymore. They took their culture and incorporated it into their own beliefs, and then they basically explained everything as okay, this was Hindu god or whatever it was at this time, and he was just shape-shifting into this and then moving to this. The problem with like religions like Christianity and stuff like that the reason why you have them saying it's bad is because it's also them the old biblical the old testament stuff like that basically coming in and taking over and saying no, absolutely not, you got to get rid of all this other stuff and you can only believe this if you're pagan or whatnot, you're definitely going to hell, you're doing all this other stuff and you are of Lucifer. That's one of the reasons why the big image of Lucifer is Pan. It's because it demonizes anything that's pagan, anything that's from, you know, from the hearthland and stuff like that people would believe in at the time.
Right.
You know, the whole meaning of heathen is that. You are
then, we got Natalie saying Zuck in the metaverse.
Yeah. Yep.
Reptile people.
Reptoids.
I do believe that there are reptoids among us.
Reptilians.
Hey, have you seen those TikTok videos of the $5 bills and stuff like that, like the what is it, the $2 bill, where it tells you to look? Huh?
Fred Durst had a $2 bill once, or was it a $3?
$3 bill, y'all.
$3 bill, y'all. Chocolate starfish and the muddy water.
Muddy waters.
No, what was it? The hot dog flavor water.
Yeah.
We might hear.
That wasn't even on that album, man.
Right.
$3 Bill Y'all was their first album. That was the album that was actually kind of decent, where they toured and opened for Korn for like years, and then he made other albums which weren't as good, progressively.
None of them were good.
I didn't mind $3 Bill Y'all. That was actually when it first came out. It was actually pretty interesting.
My favorite one was Significant Other.
I have no idea which one.
I stopped listening pretty much completely, other than like the big hits like Break Stuff and like that from the other albums, because I went to clubs and they played them excessively. But after $3 Bill Y'all, I was like, okay, that was decent. Okay, I think that's as good as it's gonna get.
No, the one that got overplayed was My Way.
Yeah, I remember that one too.
That got severely overplayed.
Fred Durst could be an alien.
He's definitely an old. He's definitely acting like a grandpa or a dad right now. Have you seen a stage show? I actually don't. I don't like Limp Bizkit. I never have, but I can respect how they're doing things. You know, like he literally just gets out there and he's like in a recliner and stuff like that, and he's got an old man wig on, and he's wearing like he's wearing cargo pants and stuff like that. I was like, that's pretty funny.
It is.
I
He's
see
got a
what
good
he's
sense of
doing
humor.
now.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Hey, we got Spooky Tales with Steve the Cat in here. How's it going, Spooky Tales? Mr. Steve the Cat. And Nadine says, I've seen a reptilian in real life. A coworker of mine had the split pupil. I could see it change when she was really upset.
Oops, sorry.
Holy shit.
There's reports of
Their
things
veil
like
drop.
that, like interesting things like that. The split pupils, the shifting of the entire like cornea and everything to black. Really interesting things like that. And then sometimes you just look into someone's eyes and you just know there's nothing there.
Yeah.
It's like a shell, like you're speaking to a shell of a person that's just kind of walking around and doing things, but like there's clearly no one behind the wheel anywhere.
Yeah, that's like who was it? The one that
every day. That's just me walking out in the world going, I don't want to do this. I don't want to talk to people today. I don't want to look at people. I don't want to deal with you. If I had reptilian eyes, I'd blink them at you.
You're like, they're like, hey, Frank.
I just don't even care. I'm not. I wish I had a means of saying, I will talk to you. Don't be stupid.
I think if I could just get like an electronic waiver on my phone, I could just have them hit agree, and that'll all be like, my rule is, don't be a fucking moron. That's my number one rule in life. I teach it to all the actors at the haunt, like don't be a dick. Sorry, it's my don't be a dick law at the haunt. But like that's it. If you're gonna be a dick, just keep walking, go on by. Don't bother me. Don't be a moron. I can't deal with it today. But if you can agree to all those terms, then press the button here and I'll speak.
You can ask a call when I get out in public, and if I go to a public place like a grocery store, like an Albertsons or I don't know if you guys do. If you guys have Albertsons you guys have it over on the East Coast, right? Stuff like that, or is it Vons or something like that? And
no, we got like Kroger and
there you go. So I think Kroger's owned by Vons. Yeah, it's the same thing. But when I get into like a grocery store like that, and I start getting anxious, and all I want to do is get my stuff and get out. I don't want to talk to people. And the minute someone starts acting up, I just almost lose it. Well, then when we get out of there, and I was explaining this actually happened last Sunday. And when we got out of there, and I was actually explaining to her, I was like, look, I am in my 40s now, and I literally I don't have patience for people like that anymore. Like if they're stupid, if they're just dicks, I just don't have patience for them. I don't. I can't deal with them. I'm going to be mean, and I don't care if I'm being mean in any way, shape, or form. I'm going to laugh at it later on that I made you cry.
Dang.
Yeah. I think with my issues that I'm just truthful. So if you're being a moron, I'm just gonna be like, hey, that was fucking stupid. Let's talk about that. And people they don't like that. And I'm not trying to be a dick about it. It's not like I'm actively trying to or caring, or I'm a dick and I don't care. I just don't realize I'm being a dick. I'm fine with it.
I'm a huge Call of Duty fan, and I play all of it. And I took a break for a while, but I got back into it last year with Vanguard, and I'm getting a new one, Modern Warfare 2, on Friday and everything like that. And I'm going to have some time to myself with that. But I don't, even on there, I don't stomach stupid people. I know how to. I'm actually pretty good at it. I quick scope all this other stuff, and a lot of times when I go into a match, sometimes I go in there to level up. I don't care about playing the game mode. I'm leveling up my stuff, and I'm worrying about my stuff. I had a kid text me afterwards, and this is probably about back in April, May, somewhere around there. And I got so mean with him that even a call was laughing her ass off, going, "Oh my fucking God." I literally said to the kid, what did I say to her? I was like, why don't you let me meet your mom so I can actually give her a son that she's going to be proud of, stuff like that.
Oh my God, I said the same thing to a kid in BA 2K not that long ago when my boy Matt was playing it. Like he was playing and just had the speaker, and on the PS5 remote, it's your speaker and it's your mic.
Yeah.
And I'm playing we're playing together, and I don't even know how to play the game, but I'm kicking this kid's ass, and he's just shit talking. I said those exact words to him at one point in time. At some point in time, I was like, "Yeah, you like that, and I'm just dribbling around the kid. I'm just like, your mom taught me how to dribble.
I showed the conversation to Natalie because we actually got screenshots from because you can take screenshots or whatever's the apps on your phone. So I took screenshots and sent them to Natalie. I was like, "You're gonna laugh your ass off at this." And like one of the lines in there, he was like, I'm 15 years old and my mom died. And I was like, well, your mom's not going to move that much when I'm doing stuff to her then. Like, that's how much I don't stomach people who like get in my, like,
this is why I don't play multiplayer games. And even if I do, I'm generally encouraged not to turn on a microphone by the people around me because I'm just
had my mic on mute. I mute the party and everything like that. I don't.
Oh, they don't care. People. They don't care. They'll still message.
Text messaged me and I was like, motherfucker, you are going to hear this. Absolutely, you are going to hear this shit. I was like, fuck. And I had to go pick my mom up from church. And on the way there, like, we're just texting the guy back and forth. Like, I was fucking laying into him. So, do Nephilim play Call of Duty? I think so.
Maybe they might be on Call of Duty.
I mean, if they blend in, they're just like us. Why not? There was something that I think Natalie was talking about a minute ago.
Where was
about a roommate they had?
Oh yeah, it's right here. Go up a little bit. It says, okay.
Yeah, it was nuts or
no. It says we had a roommate that once had a slimy back aura. We kicked them out after 2 weeks, and then she says, yeah, it was nuts. It was seriously like a deep shadow that dragged behind him, like it was on a delay. It was crazy. So yeah,
that's insane.
And that's something to consider too. That could go also along. I mean, it's hard to say whether that it could be like one of the darker Nephilim traits, or whether it could be some other
gray aliens.
I don't know how they roll. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I know, like, a lot of people consider that like an infection of aura, like someone or something has affected you so deeply spiritually that it actually infects your aura.
Yeah. Well, what about what they talk about, like the energy vampires and stuff like that? The ones that drain your energy out like really bad.
Yep.
I had to live with one. I really had to live with one. It was bad. It was horrible.
The emotional vampires or whatever they are. Oh my god, you should. Have you seen What We Do in the Shadows, like the TV series?
Yes.
One of the vampires on there is an emotional vampire, and it's fucking hilarious. Yeah, I love it. I was like, he's just.
Is it the little Mexican one?
No, he's a white dude. He works in like IT or something like that.
Yeah, he does it because the emotion he most feeds off of is boredom. So he literally he can bore someone to death.
Psychic vampire, Delphine. Well, that's actually a real thing too, not just like on the cryptid side of it. Psychic vampires, emotional vampires, and stuff like that. Narcissists are that way. They feed off, they project on, or they get you to. I mean, if you've been following the Darren or whatever Brooks court case right now. Where he's fucking with the judge the entire time, and he is like literally like representing himself, which is his narcissistic ass right there, thinking he can do whatever he wants. Yeah. But he is literally trying to run that court and get reactions out of people, and that's what these psychic vampires or emotional vampires or whatever they want to call them, they do. They people feed off that. If they can get you to react, get you to do whatever. Especially narcissists or whatnot, they will stick around to you and glom onto you as much as they can, gaslight you, everything. Do that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I had a roommate that did that really, really bad. I mean, anywhere he would go, the dude would just ruin it, like literally ruin things for everybody with his little, we would call him Buzz Killjoy.
Yeah,
there you go. Yep,
we call him Buzz Killjoy because everywhere we went, like we'd be having a good time.
Yeah,
and this dude would come out with his little, like sappy little, oh poor me, oh blah blah blah, just to get everybody's attention and everything like that because he couldn't see everybody else having a good time just because he wasn't.
It's the need to make yourself a center of attention at all times, no matter what. I know quite a few people like those in daily life that I try and stay away from.
Nadine says, I've learned to block the energy vampires. Keep your darkness to yourself. Yeah, pretty much. And then
all about boundaries. Yeah, that's right.
Setting up your boundaries and stuff like that, and just don't let them knock you down.
Well, exactly. You never let any Nephilim step on your boundaries in any way, shape, or form. We're trying to figure out how to keep this,
or even half of your boundaries.
Yeah,
we've gotten so out of subject.
Giant
like
feet,
that, we've gotten so out of subject. It doesn't matter anymore.
What size shoes do you think the giant Nephilim wear? I'm curious.
Well, I mean, what was the size of the Nephilim? Does he give a size?
I could tell you one person who's a Nephilim. Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah, there you go.
No, he's too nice.
He's a djinn.
He's a djinn.
Yeah. Didn't he play?
Yeah, he did.
What did he play?
That's the movie that everybody confuses with the Sinbad genie movie.
Yeah.
Shazam or Kazam.
Yeah. Kazam.
The Nelson Mandela effect. I remember it. I swear to God, I do.
I do too. I had it. I swear I had the video.
Oh man. No, they're about, what was it? He was about 10 feet tall, wasn't he? The one in Afghanistan. So
something like that.
I'm 6'1". I have an size 11. I actually have somewhat small feet for my size. My buddy is 6'1", and he's got size 14s. So if you want to go up higher than that, you're definitely going to have in the 24 range. I mean, what's Shaq's shoe size? I think he's like 7. He's like 7.5, isn't he?
I'm about to look that up. Shaq shoe size. I'm curious.
It's got to be like in the 24, or like it's doubled. It's going to be the bigger you are, the bigger.
23. Shaq is a 23.
Oh, never mind. The Nephilim's definitely going to have like a size 30 something or 40. It's got to be
right.
And if you're UK, it's going to be one size smaller. It's got to. That's how that works. 450 feet was an estimate based off some biblical calculations.
Oh, here we go.
Those were yeah.
The award for the largest feat goes to Robert Wadlow of Alton, Illinois, born February 22nd, 1918. 1918, whoa. Robert was 8 foot 11 inches tall, weighed 439 pounds, and he wore a whopping size 37 AA shoe.
Good Lord.
Shit. Well, that's... Well, I technically am on track there. If you're in 10 feet range, you're in the size 40 roughly. So
I'm going to go 42.
My Cheech brain's going, hijo de la chingada, man.
Do you know how painful that guy's life must have been being 8 feet tall?
In 1918.
I think this one guy. I think I heard about him. He could not feel his feet because he was so tall. The tallest men and stuff like that, they have such poor circulation because their hearts can't pump that blood down there. He literally couldn't feel anything in his feet. When you start getting over 8 feet, look at what's his face, Andre the Giant, man. All the
I was just looking up his shoe size. Oh no! Apparently he had size. Ooh, he actually had it. Ooh, some people say it was a 24 in shoe size, but the measurements in some companies for some reason it was. Oh no, never mind. That's for both feet for some reason. Somebody put 58. Now, 58 can't be right because it doesn't make any sense. But it was a 24 to 26 is what it was.
Dear God, what is that like a? I know it's like inches or something like that, but can you imagine that? Like, I mean, 58 is like, I'm 6 foot.
The size of his feet, I guess. Yeah.
I mean, and
maybe he was 7'4". He was 7'4", 520. So he weighed more than the guy that was 8 foot something. But he was also he weighed more and he was shorter because he was considered overweight for his size. But
he did keep growing, but it was slowly because of the tumor or something like that right there on the whatever gland. And all he had to do was have it taken out, and he wouldn't do it. And he probably would have lived a lot longer. I mean, after he would have lived past his. He died in his 40s, wasn't it? I think.
Yep.
Well, I mean,
91.
Check out Andre the Giant, man.
There's a good documentary on him. I mean, if you want to see Vince McMahon cry, it's he cries in that. He has to tell him to stop. It's on HBO Max, and it's Andre the Giant was literally like he was a very. He didn't suffer idiots, but man, people that were selfish, and he would let you know. But he was a very kind-hearted person, a very good person.
I actually want to know if that was true. What he did on the set of what is that one movie he played on?
Princess Bride.
Princess Bride.
Yeah, when they said that he farted.
Yeah, no, he laughed his ass off at that. That was the one thing he always did. He hated or he didn't hate him. He was more annoyed by Macho Man, and Macho Man was afraid of him. Because he hated baby lotion and baby oil and all that stuff. And I remember I was watching this thing with Hulk Hogan was talking about how, because he was like going up to him and Hulk Hogan was telling a story about it. Macho Man was like, man, hey, Andre, how do you want to do the match? And he saw that he had baby oil all over himself because, he's showing off his muscles. And like Andre the Giant literally screams at him, no baby oil, get out. So in the match, he starts literally, a man the size of Andre the Giant, you can't do much against. It doesn't matter what, if you punch him, it doesn't matter if you kick him. His legs
he has to let you do anything you're going to do.
Yeah, he does, exactly. Macho Man, he just manhandled him and actually beat him up throughout the match, ripped his hair out, and would just make references back to Elizabeth. Hey, how do you like your Macho Man now? And like just fucked him up. And because Andre the Giant's on there, he quite literally, aside from Hulk Hogan having all that fame, Andre the Giant I think actually had more fame than him because he was literally the biggest heel at the time, and that's who he was.
I think the other difference is Hogan had to fight to stay in that spotlight for as long as he did.
Oh, exactly.
Andre just had to show up because not only was he huge, he was also an extremely kind guy. He was very charitable. He did a lot of great things, and people just generally wanted him to be around because he lit up a room.
He was very intelligent and very charismatic, and he knew what he was doing, and he knew how to take care. He was the proper heel. He knew how to take care of the baby faces. If you listened to him in a match, he took care of you and you did not get hurt. If you pissed him off, you got hurt.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And I mean, it's interesting because even if you think about it, that fits this conversation because modern representation, or modern-ish, could be someone like him. Someone that is that size, someone that is that huge, that has that ability to like command a room, because that's a trait that people are born with. Like that ability to just command presence, no matter what size you are, that's an inherent thing that's got to come from somewhere.
Yeah.
But, well, guys, sorry to say it, but go ahead.
No, I was gonna say if you look at like the Native Americans, like when it comes like to the sizes for their giants, they're 8 feet, 7 feet, 8 feet, and 9 feet tall. So technically, Andre the Giant could have been a good Nephilim. He could have been a decent. Yeah.
Right.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I'm gonna have to end the show already because we are past the hour. So this was Out of the Ordinary. My name's Mike, and stay out of the ordinary.
Trying to find the end thing. Here we go. No, wait. Here we go. We'll go with the old outro for next. All right, guys.
See ya.
Bye.
Later.
It's that time, kids. Hold on to your heads. Join Psychomantium 13. Each week for thrills, chills, and a horrific good time. Don't lose your heads. Join Psychomantium 13 and enter the weird.